The chairman of the North Central All Progressives Congress APC Forum, Alhaji Saleh Zazzaga, has declared that there is no magic that can stop President Bola Tinubu from winning the 2027 presidential election. In a statement he released in Abuja on Friday, 3rd January 2025, Zazzaga said Nigerians will vote massively for Tinubu in 2027 as his policies would have turned the country around for good by the time the election comes around. Zazzaga, a member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council in the 2023 election, was responding to remarks made by Kano State New Nigeria People's Party Nnpp chairman Hasimu Suleiman Dungurawa, who warned Tinubu to prepare for defeat if he decides to run for a second term in office in 2027. Suleiman, while making this remark in Kano on Thursday, 2nd January 2025, said Nigerians will vote Tinubu out in the next election due to his anti-people policies. With these harsh anti-masses policies and your stance on them, just prepare for defeat in the next general elections. You either change them or we Nigerians together will change you, Suleiman warned Tinubu. However, reacting to the NNPP's leader's comments, Zazzaga stressed that there is no way the APC, through Tinubu, will not retain the presidency in 2027. Zazzaga declared that the bold decisions taken by Tinubu, such as the removal of the fuel subsidy and the floating of the naira, were necessary steps that had to be taken to put the country on the right path. But quickly first, I'd love to ask you, Barrister Ndamdi, do you agree with what Zazzaga has said about siding President Bola Tinubu that no magic will make him lose the 2027 election? That's the first question. And secondly, do you think that the policies he has made, according to NNPP, for the period of time since May 23rd, 2023, since he was in office up till now, it has not been to the benefit of Nigerians?
Thank you. I like that caption, no magic can make Tinubu lose. I like that caption. See, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in my own view, I see him as the most powerful man in Africa today. Why do I say this? He was not, in fact, in my view also, he was not in the good books of Buhari. Then.
Okay.
Yes, even though the man Buhari never had the clout to tell him off. With the body language of Buhari then, it was obvious that Buhari wasn't comfortable handing over power to Tinubu. But because of how powerful Tinubu is, or where, as at then, Buhari was very skeptical in telling him or working against him openly.
So Buhari handed power over to Tinubu?
Yes, of course, Buhari handed over power to him. But if you look at what played out at the inception of, campaign choice of who becomes the candidate, you will see that so many things happened. I can tell you for free that Buhari right choice never made list. What happened? The man was out of power and he was able to defeat power. The scarcity of funds during the election, we knew what happened in Nigeria. And finally, he got succor. He won by all strata. And
I thought it was Emilokon that actually happened.
That's why I declared him the most powerful man in Africa. He came out and told us that it was his turn. Until today, nobody disputed that fact that it was not Tinubu's turn. He took it, he grabbed it, and he ran away with it, like he said. So, what am I trying to say? No magic, like the caption said, can make Tinubu lose election 2027.
So by 2027, the Emilokon second would come into place.
The only thing, going by the Nigerian factor, I'm saying this, so okay. I am not saying this by what I know. Okay. I am saying it based on the Nigerian factor.
Okay.
The man understands Nigerian politics very well.
Okay.
I and you know that the Nigerian factor, no free and fair election, bribery takes the order of the day.
Okay.
The Independent National Electoral Commission does not comply to its own rules.
Okay.
The courts, at the end, will authenticate what they did. So, the question is, how do you want to win Tinubu in 2027? The only way we can win, anybody can win Tinubu in 2027 is that Tinubu says he will not run for a second term in office. That is one. Then secondly, how do you intend to win President Bola Tinubu in his second term when the same constitution is there? It has not been reviewed. We don't have a people's constitution. The same electoral act, which encourages electronic transfer of votes and at the same time encourages the manual entry of votes, it's still there. The same section 60 of our constitution, the controversial section 60, is still there. So tell me, how can any right-thinking person in this country win Tinubu? I mean, these opposition parties, they have lost it completely. Completely in the sense that they will leave out the right questions to ask and be making frivolous statements. You want to win President Bola Tinubu, what are the structures you have put in place to win him?
What structures do you think President Bola Tinubu has put in place? I asked you, that was my second question. Do you agree that since he was in office in May 23rd, 2023, up till now, he has made choices that has been beneficial to Nigerians? What structures do you think he has put in place that can actually make him remain? That's why I asked you, does it mean that in 2027, the Emilokon second will come into place? Because we are already experiencing Emilokon first. By 2027, it's going to be Emilokon second because you already agree to the fact that no magic can make him lose, just like Zazzaga said. So I would love you to please answer my questions, Barrister Ndamzi.
Like I said before, there are prevailing factors
that
will play to the advantage of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu in 2027. And the first and the most important factor is the fact that the Independent National Electoral Commission will still do the magic. At the end, there will be mutilations in our result sheets. The court will even authenticate the mutilations. At the end, we will see addition of votes. And the courts will tell us that the votes are authentic votes. Even though we cannot trace the source, the court will authenticate it. Even when there are facts, the courts will do their magic. The police, who will the police officers listen to the day of the election? Who is the chief commanding officer of the armed forces? The president. So the Nigerian factor will happen in 2027, and I tell you, even the best candidates cannot win Tinubu. Yes, we have seen in recent times some of the northern leaders. Why I say some, not all of them. Some are aggrieved. They have vented out anger, said all the things they want to say, how they intend to vote against him, how they intend to merge with the East, and all that. But I can tell us for free that Nigerian factor is bigger than that. Nigerian election is all about the more you look, the less you see. You see, the real-time counting of results ordinarily should have saved our electoral system. But intentionally, INEC knew that they will not transmit results in real time. Even though they made efforts, spent our billions, got the facility. See, we had one of the best. The company that provided that IREV and Beavers facility is the best in the world. But on getting to Nigeria, there was a glitch. Even when the company sent their experts to authenticate the fact that there was never a glitch, that their equipment was active and functioned optimally, the court still allowed Nigeria to happen. So what am I trying to say? You cannot win President Bola Tinubu unless the constitution is properly reviewed to become the people of Nigeria's constitution. Because what we have today is just, the military government just came in and added clauses that will favor leaders. Because their intention then was change to civilian contest election. We see so many of them who are retired military generals and all that, in Senate and all that.
So democracy cannot even fall in place in this situation.
Democracy can fall in place, but the thing is, the opposing parties, the opposition parties kept asking the wrong question. I expected, for example, the Labour Party, the PDP, the Nnpp, I expected them at the inception of this administration to begin tackling the National Assembly to review our constitution. That would have been the right steps to take. Embark on media campaigns, peaceful demonstrations, asking the National Assembly to review our constitution and also the Electoral Act. Because where the problem lies is the transmission of results in real time. Sis, NBA, which I'm a member, our election, you can see it in real time. As you cast your vote online now, it's adding up. The next person is saying that, oh, somebody just casted a vote. If the votes were maybe 189, 130, 120, if I cast a vote in favor of the person who had 189, it increases. And every other person sees it in real time. If a smaller unit like the Nigerian Bar Association can have free and fair election with meager resources, what stops Nigeria with our whole lots of money? We have our ways. Nigeria can buy the best of equipment to give us results. But do you know why they won't do it? If they do it, they will be shooting themselves in the leg. Who says that we cannot have electronic voting? Is it difficult? These are questions I thought the opposition party should be asking. Not, sitting in one function and you just say that 2027, this man will not win. The last election, did your vote count? Mine never counted. I can tell you for free, my own vote never counted. Here in Rivers State, I knew whom I voted for. But it counted in favor of Tinubu when he was never close to the corridors of power. Then now he's seated there with the same constitution that played in his favor before, with the same electoral act, and with the same crew of men in the judiciary, you want to win him. I mean, Nnpp should have a rethink and start asking the right questions. The questions should go to National Assembly to review our constitution, to review our electoral act.
The same National Assembly that passed the budget for 2025 that he presented in a few days.
Because our Nigerians are not asking the right questions. Sis, budget presentation is not something that can be concluded in a week. Ordinarily, we wouldn't be asking our president to come to session daily. He is duty bound under the law to make the presentations. But the way it should be, the senators ought to invite those who will carry out the stipulated ideas in the budget. The ministers, the heads of agencies and departments as concerned, they should come. Nigerians need to hear this budgeted amount. How do you intend to actualize the task before your ministry? We need to know. And it should be in such a way that, you know, in budgeting, there are long-term budgets and short-term budget and medium-term budget. They should be able to tell us, okay, if it is Ministry of Works, that this road leading from Port Harcourt to Imo State, between so time to so time, we intend to deliver phase 1. Phase 2, with more funding comes like. We should, Nigerians are supposed to ask questions. But what happens? The president will submit the budget, and the next day or so, you hear them pass it. That is to tell you that they have ill intent. As far as I'm concerned, I am not a fan of the National Assembly. Because Nigeria woes are to be corrected by the National Assembly, but they are not doing it. Because the laws are framed in such a way that it doesn't favor the commoners out there.
Okay.
So the laws should be revisited. The Electoral Act should be revisited. The section of the Constitution, that controversial section that allows INEC to manually declare, should be revisited because it costs a lot of dust, large general election. So why are the opposition party mute till now about it? Nobody's saying, nobody's talking.
No, like you said, he's the strongest man in.
Of course, he's the
most powerful man in Nigeria right now.
He's the most powerful man in Africa. I give it to him.
But this is, I like to use the word, this is a thing for concern, because as it stands, you said that the only person that can stand against him right now is someone that has a constitution or something placed that is higher or greater than whatever he has done. Am I correct?
No,
not
really.
Exactly.
Not exactly.
But you talked about meeting the National House of Assembly to review the Constitution
and the Electoral Act.
And the Electoral Act that has already been tainted by this particular person in power. How do you think they will review this Constitution?
Yes, to set the record straight, he did not taint the Constitution, the system.
So the system has been there before he
yes,
got into
power.
Yes,
of course. It has been there. The Constitution has been like that since 1999.
But the case of INEC and the electoral practice, the particular election that happened in 2023, you know, it's to just it happened right in front of us. You talked about your votes not counting. You casted a vote for a particular candidate, and it did not count. But we saw a different scenario play out. Don't you think that this constitution was actually man-made?
Yes, of course. Every constitution, it's man-made. God didn't throw down constitutions for us. We, that's why in the preamble of every constitution, you see we the people of do solemnly make for and ourselves this constitution. Okay? But in the case of Nigeria, we have never had any constitutional consultations. Say, okay, make inputs about constitutional reviews. We don't. I mean, the National Assembly should be more flexible and open in reviewing our laws. These laws affect us. We should be part of the lawmaking process, even though we do not have the voice to authenticate it in the House, but at least Nigerians should participate by, even though it's to create a simple Google form, and ask Nigerians to give feedback via a link. I mean, why are these people like this, and why are they being too difficult? Why are they making Nigerians think that we don't know what to do? These things are simple. See, like I had a conversation sometime with a senior friend who was a former member of House of Reps during the 1999 to 2003. He served out just one term. Okay, he's late now though. I asked him, I said, but boss, why is it difficult for consultations to go down to? He said, no, that what they do is they just look at, sections of the society, reach out and get feedback. But that is wrong. If you do that, you will not get the thoughts of the commoners out there. You need to get the thoughts of the people out there. They should also contribute to make simple Google form. Google form. Send it in a link. Advertise it and ask Nigerians to give feedback that we want to review our constitution.
But that's not
that will be feedback
possible as it stands, and that's really a sad one.
Because the people we have there do not represent the actual interest of Nigerians.
So we should agree with Zazzaga that no magic will actually stop Tinubu from
magic. The only magic, like I told you, I pointed out the only 3 magics, the solution.
Okay.
Number 1 is, should in case Mr. President wakes up and tells his team that he is not running for a second tenure, then that magic will be real. Then secondly, if the National Assembly will be honest in reviewing the Constitution, then the magic will happen. Then thirdly, unless the natural thing happens, God calling the man, we don't wish him death, we wish him well. We want our president to succeed. Okay, because the Bible makes us understand that we should pray for our leaders.
Yes.
Okay, so these are factors that can only make anyone win President Bola Tinubu. And also, I believe that most of the policies in place today will yield results. But I have never been happy with the way the subsidy was removed. That is one policy I disagree with his government 100% till tomorrow. The way he removed the subsidy, he ought to have, consulted previous policies on subsidy from previous administration, looking at recommendations and all that, asking experts in that area to advise him. He didn't do all that. He just mounted the podium and removed subsidy. So that caused a lot of economic crisis. Transportation became a problem, and transportation is the bedrock of every economy. Transportation drives the economy freely. If the transport system it's not in shambles, other economic sectors will pick up. Like, for example, if I'm to convey garri from a local community down to the urban, I need transportation, right?
True.
If it is expensive, it will affect the cost of garri. It will affect the cost of other produce. If I am to deliver a legal service for you in Lagos, you will consider occupational mobility, right? And all that. It will be expensive because transportation and all that. But if the transportation is cheap, I may cut down on my legal fees.
Yes.
But if the transportation is what it is today, you can't get it cheap from me. So these are just, straightforward economic reasoning. So transportation affects other segments of the economy. So the way our dear president removed the subsidy was wrong. But if the policy is strictly adhered and performed, it will yield good result to the country.
We're still